In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a Bootstrap's theme to change the color for your Bootstrap works. So we're going to start by creating a folder. Let's call it as a week 9. I'm going to create a couple of subfolders in here. So I'm going to call it as a CSS, or maybe with the small letters. I will call the next one as JavaScripts. Okay, somehow this is not really changing. Let me just change this again, rename it into CSS. And then the next one is images. Okay, so what I'll do now is let's just close this up and open it up in bracket. So I'm going to use bracket for this time around. If you feels like you want to use Dreamweaver, or if you want to use Visual Code Studio, you can actually use it. So first thing what you have to do is, let me just cancel off all these pop-ups. Go to the week 9 folder and just drop it into your bracket. So when you see that it has already been opened on the left side, and it give blank on the right side, meaning that you are good to go. So the next thing what I'll do is, let's create a new file or a new HTML file. Go to file, create new. Let me just make it bigger a little bit. So what you do is you're going to go to file again and save, and then name this file as index.html. Remember guys, the first file you open will always be called as index. Click save. So it's supposed to be save on the desktop of mine, for example, but you have to be sitting in the folder of your week 9. Now next thing what I'll do is I'm going to go to the Google Chrome. Where's my utar? Okay. Alright, so what I'll do is I'm going to look for the Bootstrap's theme generator. So apparently I've already have it here. So the website address is called as a theme str.apps. You click that open, and I want you to go directly to the custom theme, or to this one, and this is actually where we are going to generate our theme. We tried the other day, but I have a little bit of an error. The reason is because apparently this is not really so friendly enough that you can type into the code there. So somehow you have to find the colors by using the color coders here like this. But just to share with you a couple of websites that I find it really good in finding a good colors. The first one is you can look for coolers. Yeah, coolers is the fast way to actually get like the color palette. There would be an algorithm that explain to you, what are the colors that works, and that can combine it together. Of course, you can always find your own colors by observations and by your mood board and so on and so forth. So I believe that this is actually one of the website that could help you in terms of looking for a proper color. There is another website that I just found, and I thought that is really cool, and I can't wait to look and to use it for my website works and some design work. It's called as a Humin. That is actually an algorithm that generate a beautiful colors that you can use it for all of the graphic design merchandise. For examples, like brand with website or graphic design and so on. So what you can do is you can just launch it up. Alright, so in here on the left side you will see these are some of the components that what the color can be generated. So whatever colors that is generated will always be nice and pleasant to see, that it works as in together and so on and so forth, through the fonts, through the text, if you want to do it with different colors and so on. So basically it works. Yep. So and it always make it looks actually much nicer and tastefully designed, and so on. So they also have a website. If you open up or the Bootstrap, okay, you can go to the website first. If you click on the website here, for example, the website type of the magazine. Okay, I find it my internet connection today is a little bit slow, so yeah, bear in mind. Yes, so apparently you can just use a generate to generate the colors, and you will see that the whatever colors that you generate, the website seems to works in terms of the color schemes. Okay, it looks actually pretty cool and so on. And guess what? There's also another one which is on the Bootstrap. This is what I'm going to use right now. So if you can go into like a basic Bootstrap, for example, you can actually generate the 6 colors. Since you learn already Bootstrap with me, you will find out that there are colors that call as a primary, secondary, info, success, warning, danger, and of course light and white and dark, sorry, light, white, and darks, where all these colors can actually be used in terms of the design and so on. So it explains the design, that the design looks something like this, and it gives you some codes where you can actually reuse it back again for your works. And on top of that, again, you can use a generator to generate, and it actually gives you quite a pretty color. Alright, so you may undo back again to the normal one, or you can just go to like other colors in order for you to work it with. So you can actually redesign your works based on this. Alright, so what I'll do is I'm going to pick up some of the colors here. For example, you know, like they are, let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, some of the colors here which I can actually choose to use for the Bootstrap theme builder. Now in the Bootstrap theme builder, you have already had this. Alright, I find it somehow that you can't really type in the text in here because you know, somehow it feels like it doesn't really works, alright, or you can't really copy and paste actually. But what you can do is you can just come here and pick up the color that you want, alright, and you can also change from the RGB into the HSL, or you can also use a hexadecimal numbers in order for you to generate what are the colors that you need and so on. Alright, so let me just change this into a little bit of a different color just to show you how it looks like. Okay, so let's say I'm going to choose a different colors from here. Okay, so let's say these are actually the color that I wanted to use. I can just click the button apply, where it will start to load and apply all the entire things. So you will see that now the colors are actually chosen as in an options, but not just only color, you can actually use for some other elements that you want. For example, the font. And if you feels like you do not want to change the font, you wanted to use your own font, you can just ignore this. But other than that, there are some other variables, for examples like the shapes or the border radius and so on, that you can just customize and check it from here. Now, I'm not going to go into this detail, but if you wish that you wanted to try this out, please by all means go ahead and do it, because you will find that your design will be immersive and the way of how you wanted to. Okay, alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to download the CSS which has already been generated earlier. So let's download the CSS. Once when you download the CSS, I'm going to open it up in the file here. Alright, so I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to come back to the folder that I kept earlier, and I'm going to paste it inside of my CSS folder. So paste the item. You can change this into a Bootstrap theme, for example. Okay, yeah, to the Bootstrap themes. Now I'm going to install this into my work, but before we do that, let's jump back again into our bracket. Okay, and in the bracket, what happened is I'm going to now start by putting a structure, and then I'm going to put here the works for today is actually working with generator. Okay, so there are several types of generators. Spelling mistake there. Okay, so I'm going to call this as working with web generator. So after you have this, what I'm going to do, I will go to the getbootstrap.com. Let's go to the Get Bootstrap. And in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the 2 lines that will make the website to actually be alive in your web design. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down this time. There is one we call as a JS deliver, where you will see that there is a CSS here and there is a JavaScript. Now this is just a shortcut. Of course, you can explore the document, where usually that is where I pick up these 2 lines from. So let's go to the first one on the CSS. What I'll do is I'm going to copy this, come back to your web, and then you can paste it inside of the head section Of course, it looks like it's pretty long for you to do this, so you can just change by removing the integrity and the cross origin. Okay, right, I'm going to go again to the website, and this time I'm going to take the JavaScript. So copy it to the clipboard, then come back here and you can paste it in the body. Usually we will put it to the bottom before we close the body sections. Okay, so again, the integrity and the cross origin, I'm going to remove it out, so you will only get here the scripts. So save it up. You can type in something inside of the body. For example, I'm going to put here a heading 1 that say it works. All right, just to see whether it works, let's try now to do the live preview. Go to the live preview, it will open up the live preview, and if you see that this come in the Helvetica and it remove all the padding and the margin, meaning that it start on the very top left of the browser, that means that it works. Okay, right. Now the next thing what we do is I'm going to put in some of the content in here just to play around with the color before we add up the color that come from the themes generator. Okay, now let's try this, guys. Now I'm going to put here a couple of heading 1. So for example, this one I'm going to say that this is primary. Okay, and then I'm going to say that this heading 1 will have a class that is a background primary. Okay, the reason is because I just wanted to color it up with the background color, so you will see that it will stretch from left to right. Let me just make it smaller a little bit so that you guys can see better, and I can just like switch from one window to another window easily. Now I'm going to just like duplicate this H1 by pressing a Command D or a Control D donkey on your keyboard. So you will see that I can actually generate 6 different H1. So by the time you get here, you will see that there are now 6 altogether. So I'm going to do the primary, the second line, starting from just now. The first one was a background primary. The second one, I'm going to change it to secondary. Okay, I'm going to change the third one into danger. I'm going to change the next one into warning. I wish you can remember all of this. Okay, and then the next one I'm going to change it into info, and the last one I'm going to change this into success. Okay, now by changing the color, you will see that now the color here changed too. So these are all the primary colors from Bootstraps, meaning that Bootstrap offer these 6 places with some templates of color that you can choose it in. All right, now let me just clean it up by putting here some label so that you can see which is which. So I'm going to change this one to danger, another one is to warning, then after that the next one is to info, finally the last one is into success. So I have got this, and that actually works. Alright, now the next thing what I'll do is I'm going to link this file to the CSS file that we had. Now let's just review back again. In the CSS folder, I have one called as a bootstrap_theme.css. This is the one that I generated from the, what do we call that just now? The name of the website that I generated just now from the theme street, alright, or the theme str.apps. After I download it, this is actually how it's supposed to look like. Okay, so it's a bootstrap theme in here. So what I'll do next is I'm going to link this into index.html. Now let's jump in back again to bracket, and then I'm just going to put here another link, and then oops, sorry, spelling mistakes, you don't want that, so I'm going to type in again slowly link, and then after that I'm going to look for a CSS folder, and there is a bootstrap theme.css. Now if you do this, now let's take a look back again, you will see that now all of your colors have already changed. So this is actually what I wanted to show you by last week, but it doesn't really happen well. By the end of the day, I want you guys to try this thing out. Okay, now another thing that you should know is when you generate the bootstrap themes.css, actually you are generating these lines, which is you are generating the bootstrap.min.css, but in your own color. So that means that this line is no longer required. The reason is because this both CSS are the same thing, except that the color and the customized parameter or the variable that has changed according to how I customize it. So I'm going to remove this off. Alright, and then I'm going to see here that it still works as normal because it's just exactly the same file. Okay, so that is actually how you put in the color. So what I'll do is I'm going to use this color later on for all of my other contents and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to stop this video first for now, and I'm going to see you again on the next video where we are going to create something or put a font generator this time. Okay, all right, see you later, take care.